Hey guys, it's Zach, the Geeky Music Giant, talking today about a pedal called the Bassliner by HAO. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. It's actually being distributed by Godlike, and basically what we have here, they call it a bass 5-band EQ preamp. So that pretty much tells you everything about it right there. It is a preamp pedal, and from what we know about preamps, that's just meant to color your sound and to boost your signal. That's the main two purposes of a preamp. So, the great thing about this pedal, it's got 5 frequency channels options instead of just the typical 3 for a bass pedal. And then it's also got an engage button and a mute button. The mute is actually really good if you happen to have a pedal tuner. You can put the pedal tuner in front of this, or if you have a rack tuner, you can put the rack tuner in front of this and then mute it. That's not a common thing that you find with a lot of pedals, but obviously they knew that their place in line. Usually you'll put the preamp before effects pedals and things like that, but you can always mess with it. You also have a level knob and an input gain knob, so just messing with the drive versus the volume. You also have a direct output as well as a regular output, so you could be potentially running 2 simultaneous signals to different places, whether it be to a PA or to another bass amp. Standard input as well as your typical 9-volt. One thing that you'll notice on this pedal is that it does not have any sort of XLR output. Now this is a feature that's kind of become common in these types of pedals, so it would have been a nice touch, but usually in a snake that you'll find on stage, typically they also have 1/4-inch inputs as well, so you could use this direct output and be running straight to a snake and not have a problem. So the only difference is that an XLR would give you a little bit better of a balanced output. It's considered more of a shielded cable. Essentially, it's a better signal. So I am kind of a jack of all trades, and I do play a lot of things kind of well. I kind of wanted to bring in a professional on the bass to show you guys really how flexible this pedal is. One thing we also notice, and Mr. Blood will touch on in the video, is how clean this activation switch really is. It's incredible. You can't hear it activate at all. So that's probably the coolest part about it, but I'll let him tell you a little bit more about that.
It's when I turn it on and off, usually a lot of stomp boxes and pedals, there's some kind of click, but listen to the cleanness of it. So you can hear the pedal clicking, but there's no change in my actual sound. So now with it on, having everything in a bass line, that's really nice for recording and playing through a PA and that kind of thing. So right now I'm going to mess with the lower frequencies to give it more punch, because a lot of times if I'm at a gig and we're doing some kind of funk tune or something where you need more low end, it may even be, you know, whole notes. As opposed to, you know, if you have it a little more flat. And I'm not doing, you know, everything on the amp is just at 12 o'clock essentially. So it gives it a little more punch. Scoop the mids a little bit. middle. So now I'm just experimenting. I'm taking out some of the bass and adding in some of the more high frequencies to give me a thinner sound. So if I was wanting to, let's say, solo, and it's my turn to solo, I may want to boost the mids too, so the last three right here, as opposed to this is what it sounds like flat. So I want to take some of that bottom out and let it cut through the guitar sounds, which are usually going to be, the guitars are usually going to be pretty loud and pretty piercing. So this is just more of the, if I'm going to solo on top of a band or something like that, or it's kind of my spot to shine, if I boost some of the high end, I may not want the low end to be away. So maybe I have the low end just at 12 o'clock and the three higher, the mid, and then the two higher knobs kind of at like 2 o'clock. Also, if I'm doing more harmonic type things, I'm going to really want those low end out. I'm going to scoop the mids too. And again, that's if I turn everything to 12 o'clock, it's going to sound like this. More subtle what I'm doing. Could also do some things like I could keep the level where it's at and boost the gain a whole bunch. Again, if I want to do, you know, so it really lets me punch through when those guitar players are getting on your back, you know, and telling you to be quieter. You can just tell them to shove it and crank these puppies up. Makes those harmonics shine out really nice. Okay, so just to kind of explain the pedal, so you've got your input jack over here, you've got a DC kind of a power adapter over here. Obviously this has a battery, I guess, in it right now. You've got your outputs over here, so you've also got a DI, so if you're in the studio or you're having to plug directly in the PA, this is really handy. You've got a mute, so if I'm playing, I can just mute myself just like that. On and off switch, so you know, if I've got everything boosted, let's say, you know, I've got my bypass, so I can play with just the signal of the bass. You've got your level, which, you know, typically on your amp it's just going to be your volume, so this is kind of your master volume, and then your gain to boost your signal. So I could keep that all the way down if I wanted to. Doesn't sound too great. And then these are each specific just bandwidths in your sound. So just like on your amp, you've got more here, but typically you're going to have 3 to 4 here. Here you got 5, so you can get more detailed with it. So it goes from lowest all the way to the highest frequency. And I think that's it. So the signal that you get from the from the pedal, so if I turn it off and I turn it on, I'm still retaining a high amount of what my bass actually sounds like. So this doesn't really interfere with my tone, which I found a lot of pedals can do. And so it's got a really clean sound to it. It's more for editing, doing fine tuning on your tone.